Good morning, this is Jesse Blenn in Costa Rica. Today we're going to communicate with gray aliens. Buenos días, este es Jesse Blenn en Costa Rica. Hoy vamos a comunicar con los alienígenas grises. I want to clarify, you are not going to hear them talking, you're not going to see them. I don't have those abilities. Quiero aclarar que no vas a escucharlos hablando ni vas a verlos porque yo no tengo esas habilidades. There are people who do have the ability to communicate, probably with them. I don't doubt that. I'm sure you can find people on YouTube and other places that will give you information like that. Hay personas que sí pueden comunicar con ellos, que tienen esas capacidades, y estoy seguro que si busca puede encontrar gente con esas habilidades. So I'll explain what I'm going to do. So if you don't want to see me talking about gray aliens, but no gray aliens here, then maybe you should look elsewhere. But I think you'll find it interesting what I am going to show you. Entonces, si no le interesa escucharme hablar de los grises sin verlos, entonces tal vez mejor no vea esto. Pero yo creo que sí puede encontrar interesante lo que me sale aquí, la información. So this is information we're going to get, okay? Which I haven't seen anyone else that gets information like this. No he visto a nadie más que saca información de esta manera acerca de los grises. This about the alien grays, of course. Okay, how did I first communicate with the alien grays? ¿Cómo primero comuniqué con los alienígenas grises? I wish I could find it, but I looked a little bit and didn't find it. It would be hard to find. There's a story of a Canadian who had experience with some grays, two experiences. No pude encontrarlo, pero porque costaría, porque no me acuerdo el título, pero hay un canadiense que tuvo dos experiencias con los grises. And he did hypnosis, and especially through, he remembered a little bit, but especially through hypnosis, he remembered basically everything that happened. Él recordaba un poquito, pero por medio de hipnosis pudo recordar todo lo que ocurrió. Entonces, so, in his experience, the second time he had a musical band. He was young, 17 or 18 years old, and played flute in a band. La segunda vez que le ocurrió él tenía unos 17, 18 años y tocaba flauta en un conjunto musical. And they were coming back from a performance late at night, and their van was stopped by aliens, and they were taken on board a alien spacecraft. Ellos venían de regreso de noche donde habían tocado su música, y su van, su carro, fue parado por los alienígenas y los llevaron a bordo de una nave. And there they did some experiments with them, nothing painful in that case, and told them lots of things, and they seemed interesting characters, these alien grays. And then they let them go. Y ahí les hicieron varios experimentos, exámenes, y les contaron muchas cosas, y luego los soltaron. Okay, so that's the introduction. How can I say I communicate with grays? Así, eso es la introducción. ¿Cómo puedo decir que yo comunico con esos grises? Well, I learned that I can, by asking for that contact, I can communicate with anyone using a pendulum and ask lots of questions, which I get, to me, very believable and sometimes verifiable answers to. Yo he encontrado que por medio del péndulo puedo comunicar con cualquier persona o ser y me contestan cosas de una manera a veces sorprendente y a veces verificable. So, in this story, this man is going up into the UFO on a moving staircase, and he's following this gray. The gray tells him, follow me. Entonces, en esta historia, este hombre está subiendo a la nave en una escalera movediza y está siguiendo un gris. porque el gris les dijo, síguenme, y ellos están siguiendo. Okay, so here I have a gray that I communicate with. That's all I need. I need to know the situation, and zap, I can contact with them. Entonces ahí tengo un gris con quien, un gris específico, a specific gray that I can communicate with. Ahí tengo un gris específico con quien puedo comunicar. Nada más hago el contacto y puedo sacar información. Es comunicación de esa manera. So I can make the contact and get out information about this specific gray alien. That's the communication I have. Okay? No talking, I can't see them, but we can get information. Así que no hablo con ellos, pero podemos sacar información. So, let me communicate. I remember the story. I don't have to remember the man's name, but let me communicate with that alien gray who was going up the moving staircase in front of this man who was telling the story. When it stops and turns backwards, I have the contact. Entonces, déjame comunicar con ese gris que iba subiendo la escalera delante de ese canadiense que contó esa historia. Cuando para el péndulo y gira para atrás, tengo contacto. Okay. It's turning backwards, I have the contact. Está girando para atrás, tengo contacto. Okay. Now, what questions would we ask about this gray? I'll analyze him as I would a normal person. I'll check their health, first, his energy age. ¿Qué preguntas haría de este gris? Bueno, primero voy a revisar su edad energética, que es un indicador de salud. You notice the pendulum is swinging side to side on its own. That's waiting for my questions. Noten que el péndulo va de lado a lado, solo, está esperando mis preguntas. It's almost like it had a mind of its own, right? Es casi como si tuviera mente propia el péndulo. Okay. His energy age. 10 in years. Su edad energética en años. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 20, 30, 40, 140, 140 years. Quiero aclarar que eso es en ese momento, ¿verdad? No es en el presente, sino en el momento que eso ocurrió. I want to clarify that is at the time that it happened, not the present time, at the time that it happened. 140 years, 141, 142. Okay. This is 142. It's slowing down and stopping. So his energy age is 141. I haven't seen that before. Humans die at 100, 141. If I think 141, it starts spinning again. This is the energy of truth. No he visto esa edad lógico, en los humanos normales, no, porque morimos con 141 años. Eso es la edad energética de ellos. Okay. Now, we don't know if they die. It appears to me that they're like rebuilt. They get to a certain age and then they're like remanufactured or something. So maybe they don't actually die. So let me ask, do they die? Estoy preguntando, me parece que ellos llegan como a cierta edad y los refabrican o algo así. Estoy preguntando si ellos mueren. Y este está contestando que no. Ellos realmente no mueren. Nosotros pensamos en la muerte como que sale el alma y el cuerpo se descompone. We think of death as your soul goes out and your body deteriorates and rots away. So they don't have that kind of death, okay? Now, how many years is their useful life or useful abilities? How many years in our years? How long do they last? Let's say 10, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. ¿Cuántos años duran? Aquí voy por 350, 400, 500. here with 500. Now, the last time it actually answered, if I remember, for one of them that I was talking with, or maybe an average, 500 in some years. 510, 20, 30, 530, 540, it's real close. 540. 540 years. 541, 42, 43. Okay. They have a useful life of something over 500 years. Now, what do they do with them at the end of that? Do they bury them? Que si los entierran al fin de esa vida útil, que si los entierran, dice que no. Do they rebuild them? Refabrican, los refabrican. It's saying yes, they rebuild them. So like rebuild, they probably have a regeneration chamber or something like that. This is a strong yes. Esto es una sí muy fuerte, entonces estoy diciendo cosas que son bastante verídicas. Tienen algún tipo de reconstrucción después de su vida útil de unos 540 años. So they have some kind of rebuilding process after their useful life of about 540 years. Okay. Now, communicate with this same one. Vamos a comunicar con ese mismo en ese tiempo y preguntamos su nivel de conciencia. And we're going to ask his level of conscience. Level of conscience is for any being that has a soul. So his level of conscience. Level of conscience. Nivel de conciencia. Y no está contestando. And it's not answering. Does he have a level of conscience? Que si tiene un nivel de conciencia. I'm asking now, does he have a level of conscience? And the pendulum is changing to no. No. No tienen conciencia. So this gray alien does not have a conscience. Do they have a soul? That's also a clear no. They don't have a soul. También no tienen alma. Eso es muy claro que es un no. Bien claro que no tienen alma. Ok. Entonces, lo que han dicho es, la razón que estoy haciendo esto es que vi un video de un hombre hablando que su experiencia y sus preguntas acerca de los grises, queriendo saber por qué están aquí, cómo funcionan, cómo son. So the reason I'm answering this is I saw a video of a man speaking of his experiences with the grays, one experience, I think, directly. And then his big questions is, who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? What are they really? Okay. Entonces, estamos tratando de ver realmente qué son los grises. Okay. So we're trying to find out what the grays really are. Now, in most experiences, the reptilians are behind these grays or controlling them. En la mayoría de estas experiencias, los reptilianos están detrás de estos grises o controlándolos. There's a Mexican hypnotist, Javier Sampaio, I think his name is. Hay un hipnotista mexicano, creo que se llama Javier Sampaio. And he had an experience in hypnosis of talking with a reptilian. And so we understand some of what they're doing. It appears the reptilians are behind the abductions and trying to get human information and DNA and materials and things. Entonces, de ver unos videos parece que los reptilianos están detrás de estos grises, como haciendo programas de reproducción con humanos, pero parece que es para los reptilianos. So it seems that these reproduction programs are for the reptilians. De hecho, en uno de los videos de este Javier, una reptiliana estaba teniendo sexo con un humano y él no quería. Entonces era para reproducción reptiliano cruzado con los humanos. So in this, Javier Sampaio's, one of his videos, a female reptilian who the guy said smelled very bad, was having sex with this guy. So that part would appear to be a reptilian reproduction plan. Okay, so it appears that the Greys are basically clones without souls, and they are being used as slaves. In other words, they follow the orders. Let's see if that's basically true. Okay, that's basically a true statement. Okay. Básicamente es cierto que son tipo clones esclavos. The man in the video there mentions as if they made clones of themselves because they lost the ability to reproduce, and they're trying to rebuild their race using human genetics. Well, maybe they lost their ability to reproduce because the reptilians needed them as slaves, and that's how they can control them. Mi idea es que más bien que los reptilianos los usen como esclavos y al ser clones que no se reproducen son fáciles de controlar. Notice that the pendulum is spinning yes strongly. That's indicating that there's truth in what I'm saying. Okay. Now, does this reptilian we're in contact with have a soul? No, it doesn't have a soul. Okay. Now, let's contact with this reptilian now. Comuniquemos. Pregunté si el reptiliano con quien tenemos contacto tiene alma y indica que no. Otra vez está indicando que no. Okay. Comunicamos con ese reptiliano en ese tiempo. So let's communicate with that reptilian at that, this gray. Comuniquemos con ese gris. Estoy pensando gris y diciendo reptiliano. I'm thinking gray and saying reptilian. I'm sorry. Okay, communicate with the gray at that time and see if they have chakras. First chakra. If we have souls, we have chakras. Okay. First chakra. Usually clones have 2 chakras. First chakra. Yes. Sí, estoy viendo que tiene primer chakra. Segunda chakra. Los clones tienen 2 chakras. Clones have 2 chakras. You can see my videos on clones to understand it. Los clones tienen 2 chakras funcionando. Puede ver mis videos de clones para entender eso. Here's his second chakra. Third chakra. Tercer chakra. Nothing. Fourth, fifth. Okay. What happened here when they only have the first 2 chakras, they don't have a soul. The soul is in the area of the 3rd chakra. And strangely enough, I found that by activating the 3rd chakra, it certainly appears that a soul actually enters their body. Entonces, el alma está cerca al tercer chakra. Y, por extraño que parezca, cuando activo la tercer chakra, parece que entra un alma. Porque al activar la tercer chakra, tienen conciencia. Because when I activate their 3rd chakra, they have a level of conscience that they did not have before. Ese nivel de conciencia no lo tenían antes. Entonces, yo hace tiempo activé las chakras de este gris. So let's communicate with him now and check his chakras. Y yo hace tiempo activé las chakras a este mismo gris. Y entonces vamos a comunicar con él ahora y ver sus chakras. So we'll communicate with him now in the present, the same gray alien, and check his chakras. His first chakra, Supreme chakra. Supreme chakra, his first chakra. His second chakra. His 3rd chakra. See, he has a 3rd chakra. 4th chakra. He has chakras. Okay? Tiene chakras. Están funcionando. Yo las activé. We humans, and that is one reason that they're interested in us, we have amazing abilities the vast majority of us don't know about, but yet some of these extraterrestrials know about it. Nosotros los humanos tenemos capacidades maravillosas que la gran mayoría de nosotros no lo sabemos, pero estos extraterrestres podrían saberlo y quieren aprovecharnos de nuestras habilidades. Okay? Now, we're going to ask his level of conscience. Ahora vamos a preguntar su nivel de conciencia. Okay? 5, 10, 15, su nivel de conciencia. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 700. Very near a normal human. Muy parecido a un humano normal. Promedio en la Tierra es alrededor de 800. Very near a normal human conscience. The average on the Earth is about 800 now. 700, 700, 710, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. It stops at 760, so at 750 it starts moving again. Comienza girando otra vez con 750, 55, 6, about 700, alrededor de 750. The level of conscience. Very similar to humans. Very similar to humans. That's interesting. Okay? Now, this logically to some people this will be boring because there's no grays talking. Lógicamente a algunas personas va a ser aburrido porque no estamos hablando con los grises, sino comunicando nada más. We're just communicating. Okay? Now, we have some basic questions. For example, how many grays are there? Let's say within 1,000 miles of the Earth. ¿Cuántos grises hay, digamos, dentro de 1,000 millas de la Tierra? How many grays are there within 1,000 miles of the Earth? Of course, we're talking about basically physical grays, right? They're not just here mentally or something. Estamos hablando de grises físicos. ¿Cuántos hay? How many are there in thousands? 1, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 90,000, 95, 100, 105, 110, 15, 20, 25, 30, 130, 130,000. Getting close. 131, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 136. Va a parar con 136. It's going to stop with 136, but I think 135, 135, irá otra vez. So there are about 135,000 grays within 1,000 miles of the Earth. Hay unos 135,000 grises dentro de 1,000 millas de la Tierra. Okay, 135,000. As I say, I don't move the pendulum. Sometimes it moves my hand a little bit. It's moving on its own here. This is the energy of truth. Yo no muevo el péndulo. A veces el peso del péndulo mueve mi mano un poquito, pero esta es la energía de la verdad que está moviendo el péndulo, que hay muy cerca a 135,000 grises. So they're very close to 135,000 grays. Okay. Now, there is a story that the Greys want to have souls and that they would like to rebel against the reptilians. Hay la historia que los grises quieren tener almas y que quisieran rebelar contra los grises. Recently, in the YouTube channel Rimble35, by David Parcerisa of Spain, recientemente en el canal de YouTube Rimble35 de David Parcerina Parceriza, David Parceriza en español, there's the news that the Greys have rebelled against the reptilians and that they're coming to the side of the humans. En este canal de David Parceriza recientemente está la noticia que los Grises han rebelado contra los reptilianos y que vienen al lado de los humanos. That could be big news. Podría ser noticia grande. ¿Okay? ¿Qué podrían ganar por hacer eso? What could they achieve by rebelling? Well, number one, they're slaves. They could stop being slaves. Número uno, son esclavos. Podrían dejar de ser esclavos. Y número dos, tal vez podrían conseguir las almas que están buscando conseguir. So maybe they could get souls, which appears to be what the reptilians took away from them. Y tal vez podrían conseguir almas, que parece ser que es lo que los reptilianos les quitaron. So, where are these where are these Greys? And how can we find out a little more about them? Entonces, ¿dónde están estos grises y cómo podemos aprender más de ellos? Okay. I have a friend who does hypnosis, and he actually told us where there is a gray alien base. I live in Costa Rica. Tengo un amigo que hace hipnosis y él en realidad me contó donde hay una base de los grises. Yo vivo en Costa Rica. If you look on Google Earth, and I'm going to show you the picture here. If you look on Google Earth, south of Costa Rica is a very small island called Cocos Island, which belongs to Costa Rica. And to the east, maybe less than 100 miles, or let's say 100 miles to the east, northeast of Cocos Island, on the sea floor, which you can see on Google Earth, are some rectangular structures. Si usted busca en Google Earth, Costa Rica, al sur de Costa Rica está la isla de Coco, que es propiedad de Costa Rica, y al noreste, un poquito al noreste de unos 100, 150 kilómetros o algo así, al noreste de la isla de Coco, hay estructuras rectangulares que aparecen en el fondo del mar en Google Earth. So these rectangular structures appear on the seafloor in Google Earth. And I'm going to put this here so you can see basically. The structures are where the yellow arrow is. Okay, you should be able to see Costa Rica. Let's see. Cocos Island is down here, and that area there are the structures. Now, we're going to show a close-up of those structures. Here is a close-up of these structures. The diameter of that area with the actual structures is about 100 miles, 100 kilometers diameter. El área grande con esas estructuras es alrededor de 100 kilómetros de diámetro. So, this friend says that that's a gray alien base and that nobody is allowed to either psychically, through hypnosis, to enter there or physically. Okay? So, when I learned that a few years ago, así que esa es una base de los grises y que nadie es permitido entrar ahí, ni psíquicamente, por medio de hipnosis, ni físicamente. So, a few years ago, I communicated with them and asked how many were there. Entonces, hace esos pocos años, comuniqué con ellos, pregunté cuántos hay. There are about 8,000 of them. At that time, there were 7,000. There's now about 8,000 alien grays in that undersea base. It's very big. It's like 100 kilometers long, these structures and things. And me and a friend of mine, we actually communicated with them and did activation of chakras for them. Entonces yo y un amigo comunicamos con ellos y les activamos las chakras a ellos. This was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Tal vez hace unos 3 o 4 años yo y este amigo comunicamos con ellos y activamos sus chakras. So they should have souls now. And that's what we're going to see. Now, the fact that they have souls is, let's say, giving them what they want, and they have, to me, they have a reason to want that if it was taken away from them. El hecho de que tienen almas ahora significa que consiguieron lo que estaban queriendo, porque les fueron quitados las almas por medio de los reptilianos, parece. It seems that the reptilians took away their souls to be able to control them. Okay, so let's communicate with an average. Comuniquemos con esos grises en esa base. Okay. We have contact. Tenemos contacto con los grises en esa base. ¿Cuántos son? How many are there? 1,000, 2,000, 300, 3,000, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8,000, 100, 200, 300, 400, 8,400. Hay unos 8,400, 8,500 y para. 8,500 stops. So about 8,400 there. Okay. Now let's communicate with them as a group and check the average of their chakras. Comuniquemos con ellos y preguntemos el promedio de sus chakras. Primer chakra. First chakra. Second chakra. Third chakra. They're working. Fourth chakra. Sus chakras están funcionando. The fourth chakra. Their chakras are working. Before they weren't. Okay? If you are still listening, si aún están escuchando, yo sé que todo esto parece absurdo, pero eso es lo que ellos están buscando. Volver a tener almas. That's what they're looking for. They want to have their souls back. And those have their souls back. Now, I'm asking, does what we did with them have part in them, according to David Parceriza, now being on the side to help the humans? Entonces mi pregunta es, si lo que hicimos para ayudarles a conseguir sus almas, si eso ayuda a que ellos ahora estén de parte de los humanos. And the answer is yes. Y la respuesta es sí. By helping them do that, we now have allies in the alien race. Por hacer eso, ahora tenemos aliados en los alienígenas grises. This is saying yes, this is a true statement. Esto está diciendo sí, que es cierto lo que estoy diciendo. Okay. So, we are helping them, and they are helping us. We have allies. We can have allies in the alien grays. So I should communicate with all of these alien grays and activate their chakras, and then we can really cut into the power of the reptilians. Si comunico con todos los alienígenas grises y activo todos sus chakras, entonces podemos quitarles poder a los reptilianos. Ok. Y parece que es una cosa positiva que hacer. Porque mire qué emocionado que está el péndulo. It seems like a positive thing to do because see how excited the pendulum is? Saying yes, 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 yes. Okay. This is, como le digo, no hablamos con los grises, pero salimos con información. We didn't talk to the grays, but we did get some information out. So they appear to be that they can become almost human-like. Parece que pueden llegar a ser casi como humanos. By having souls, as in the case of this first one, then their level of conscience becomes close to a normal human. Al tener su alma, su nivel de conciencia llega a ser parecido a los humanos. Muy interesante. Very interesting to me, para mí. Okay, so that's what I can tell you about grace. Now, I'm sorry I took so long to tell you all this. Lamento que he durado tanto en decir eso. If you have had experience with the grays, I can offer to, and you can specify something that happened where I could communicate with an actual gray. I can ask questions of the grays that you have experiences with. Like, what are they doing with you? What's the purposes? How positive they are for you? Whatever. If you have children from that experience and things like that, I can answer them. Entonces, al final llego a esto, ofrecer, si usted ha tenido experiencias con los grises, yo puedo comunicar con esos grises específicos y hacerles preguntas. Que ¿por qué estaban haciendo eso con usted? ¿Qué ganan ellos? Si usted tiene hijos, ¿cuántos hijos tiene? ¿Dónde están? Podemos hacer preguntas y sacar información. I'm sure of that. Estoy seguro que podemos sacar información. And if you need help with that, you should have a list of questions, and we should probably do a video conference. And I would like, if possible, permission to at least a voice recording, because I think this information should come out. My ability, as you see, my ability is limited. I'm not claiming to be the man who can talk to grays, no. But it's useful information. Si hay alguien que ha tenido experiencia con los grises, me gustaría poder comunicar con ellos por video, sacar una grabación visual o de audio para publicar esta información, para ir aclarando esta información acerca de los grises. No puedo ofrecer, como le dije, no puedo ofrecer que yo pueda hablar con ellos. No tengo esa habilidad. Pero podemos sacar información y tener comunicación. So, even though I can't talk with them, I can offer contact and information. That's all I can offer. Eso es todo lo que puedo ofrecer. But it might be useful in your case if you had that experience. Pero podría ser muy útil en el caso suyo si has tenido esa experiencia. For example, I met a young woman on the bus one time who was drawing pictures of flying saucers in her notebook. Por ejemplo, una vez en un bus conocí una muchacha que tenía dibujado ovnis en un cuaderno. So I asked her, have you had any experiences with UFOs? And she says, ever since I was a little girl, they've been taking me. Le pregunté si ha tenido experiencias con los ovnis y dice, desde que fui niña me han estado cogiendo. And they've come several times to take me, and they always tell me, you know what we're going for. But I never remember more, and I don't know who they are, and I don't know what they do with me. Y que siempre que vienen, me dicen, usted sabe a qué vamos, pero yo no sé a qué vamos. Yo no recuerdo, no sé si son buenos o malos. Yo no recuerdo qué ocurre, pero yo sé qué ocurre. So she knows this happens, but she doesn't know why, what they're doing with her. And she has a friend with the same situation who's also routinely taken by the aliens. Y ella tiene una amiga que también que le pasa como rutina que la cogen los extraterrestres. That day I asked the pendulum when was the last time that they took her, and it indicated 16 months ago. Ese día que hablé con ella, pregunté al péndulo hace cuánto fue la última vez que la llevaron y era hacía 16 meses. Yo puedo sacar ese tipo de información, ¿verdad? That's the kind of information I can get out, for better or worse. Para bien o mal, eso es lo que yo puedo hacer y ofrezco hacer. So, if you've still listening, I hope that I've been helpful to understand these grays and a little bit more of what's going on. Pues si siguen escuchando, agradezco su atención y tal vez he ayudado a que entendamos un poco mejor estos grises. Okay? So thanks for your attention. Contact me if you have specific questions. Gracias por su atención. Puede contactarme si tiene preguntas específicas.